If you're a new plant parent and you need to know how to take care of your plants, this is the video for you. So you've just started collecting houseplants and you're brand new to the hobby. What are some of the essential items that you might need to keep your houseplants happy and healthy along their journey? My first recommendation would be to ensure that you plant your plants into a well-draining soil. Now it depends on the plant how much you add, but it can be beneficial to add drainage materials such as perlite. Another one you can use is orchid bark. Adding perlite to your soil will increase the drainage and help to prevent root rot. And the amount of these that you add to your soil will depend on the plant. So you'll want to do a bit of research. If it's a plant that likes a very airy soil, such as the Monstera deliciosa, then I like to add orchid bark and also some perlite, and I also like to add in pumice as well, and sand if you have it can also be good. I don't actually have either of those at the moment, but my go-to is definitely orchid bark and perlite. So if you are potting a succulent, you will probably want to use more perlite because succulents do like to have a more well-draining soil than most house plants. But usually what I do is I do a little bit of research on the plant and see what sort of soil it likes, and then I just tailor-make my soil based on what the plant prefers, and I just use a mixture of cocoa coir with added drainage materials. You'll also need some handy scissors or pruning shears. Don't forget to wash them in between uses, and you can use these to trim off any yellow or brown leaves on your plants. Always make sure to sanitize your scissors or your shears first, and then all you need to do is, when you identify a leaf that needs removing, just gently snip it off. And you should do this with yellow leaves, brown leaves. As soon as you see them, just snip them off with your scissors or your shears. Sanitize them in between uses, and that will keep your plant nice and healthy. If you find yourself unsure when to water your plants, I'd highly recommend you get one of these, and this is a moisture meter. And all you do is you stick this down into the soil of your plant, and it will tell you on the meter there how dry or moist your plant is. And so if you have a plant that likes to dry out between waterings, you'd want to wait for it to go down to dry. If you have a plant that likes to stay a bit moist, then you'd want to keep it in the moist range. So you just switch it on and then slide it down into the soil, and then read what's on the dial. This one is wet because I've only just watered this one, so this one doesn't need watering. And it's as simple as that. It takes out all the guesswork for you, and it really reduces instances of overwatering. And overwatering is one of the biggest killers of houseplants, especially for new plant parents, because we want to do well for our plants and we think that giving them lots of water is a good thing, but actually it's not. So I'd highly recommend you get one of these. They are very inexpensive, and I will put a link in the description as well to where you can get one of these. Something else you'll want to remember is to give your plants a clean now and then. Now you can do this by showering off the leaves in the shower, but you can also use microfiber cloths. So you take the cloth and just wipe gently. You can also add water to the cloth, and I do that sometimes. But this is just a great way of just removing that dust and ensuring your plant's pores are not blocked. And depending on the plant, the bigger the leaves, the more they're going to need dusting. So this one's got fairly small leaves, But if you were doing it to a Monstera, for example, Monstera deliciosa, it would probably need dusting a little more often. Another thing I'd recommend that you keep on hand is a selection of different size nursery pots, and that's because as your plant grows it's going to require repotting. So if you get these from the shop when you get your plant, make sure you save them when you repot, and I always keep mine because you never know when you might need them. So next time you need to repot one of your plants, you'll have one handy, and it's also a great way of recycling as well.